The following is a presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and future. Why, hi there, I'm Ron Juckett, and it's a pleasure to have you along for a holiday special. We're going to play the Detroit Tigers and California Angels in a minute from May 31st, 1982, Memorial Day afternoon. So a special part of our 4 games this week. We'll have the Tigers and the Angels tomorrow afternoon at noontime for a Wednesday game. And then Wednesday night in prime time, we will feature the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. And then Thursday afternoon, our Saturday game, the San Francisco Giants and the Chicago Cubs, because NBC and Major League Baseball had some terrible choices to give. There must have been some rained-out games. So that's the week ahead. But first, before we begin our game coverage, remember this is a Memorial Day game. And so this is a day that in real life that we would honor, of course, our dead from all the wars. And there have been 18 active Major League players who have given the ultimate sacrifice for their country while in a war situation. And so for many years, the New York baseball Giants honored this man, Eddie Grant, or Edward Leslie Grant. This monument that you see here was in play at the Polo Grounds. They put it in after the war, 1920, I believe, and it was in play. It was 470 feet away from home plate. And so just like the monuments at Yankee Stadium in later years, this was in play from 1920 to 1957. Captain Grant played for the Philadelphia Phillies or the Nationals from 1907 to 1910. He spent 3 years with the Cincinnati Reds, and then the last, or 2.5 years, then the last part of his career with the New York Giants before being drafted and serving in the armed forces, the Army Expeditionary Force, 307th Infantry and 77th Division. Was killed in Argonne about a month before the end of the war, and the Giants, as I said, placed this in center field before, right at, for the 1920 season. So, although this isn't Memorial Day, we're doing this, of course, live on March 4th. As I said, 18 players sacrificed their lives for this, gave the ultimate sacrifice, and probably Eddie Grant is the most famous of those because he's the one that actually was memorialized at the Polo Grounds. So before we get into play for the day, I think I can open up this other window. How you doing, Robbie? We'll actually have a story about Eddie Grant at the at halfway home because it's a very interesting story. But I want to wait till people actually get here. So here's what we got going on: the Tigers and the Angels are holding on. Baltimore and Toronto. Baltimore won their game Sunday, so the Tigers' lead over the Orioles and the Blue Jays is 3.5. California's lead over Chicago is 1.5 games. Chicago has 3 games in hand, and like I said, you will see them on Wednesday night, and the Saturday game, the Thursday afternoon game is San Francisco and Chicago. So the only races we have right now as we get into Memorial Day are in the American League. California holding on for dear life. Detroit, they're still in good shape, but Baltimore and Toronto are nipping at their heels. So we'll see. Yeah, it's true. So let's get to it. Let's play some baseball. As Retro Sports Network presents a holiday special, the Detroit Tigers and the California Angels on Memorial Day afternoon. A huge advantage for the Angels as Mike Witt goes on the mound, 3-1 on the year. He's ready to go against Pashnik. And it's 70 degrees. The wind is barely blowing out here at Disneyland. It's 2 miles an hour. Just a gorgeous afternoon.
Play ball!
In Southern California. Let me get my volume set for you. So you've seen the standings. The Tigers lead is 3.5 over the Orioles and the surprising Blue Jays. The Angels lead over Chicago is 1.5 games. Both teams need this game. It's a 4-game set in Anaheim, and you'll see 2 of them right here this week on Retro Sports Network. How you doing, Bobby Catalano? Glad to have you along. So Mike Witt is on the hill. 3-1 on the year with a save. He's making a 7th start of the year. His last start, or his last appearance, actually came out of the bullpen. The last 2 times he's pitched has actually been out of the bullpen. He went an inning he went 1/3 of an inning and allowed 2 hits. This was on May 20th. So he's on 11 days rest. He's thrown 45 innings, 39 hits, 1 home run. He has walked 12 and struck out 22. The save came against Baltimore on May 9th. He has not faced the Tigers this year. So here's the lineup that Mike will be facing. Chet Lemon will lead off and play right. Enos Cabela's at third. He'll bat second. Kirk Gibson is at center. He's not with the Tigers much longer. For some reason, Sparky Anderson loves Mike Ivy as a DH. He'll hit fourth. Richie Hebner will play fifth and play first. Larry Herndon is in left. He'll hit sixth. Lance Parrish, the catcher, will go seventh. Lou Whitaker, the second baseman, bats eighth. And Alan Trammell will bat ninth. The defense. How you doing, Mark Forsberg? Good to have you along. Mark Forsberg, you read something and you process it. I'm not quite sure what kind of a pitcher Mark Forsberg was. But here's the defense around Mike Witt this afternoon. Brian Downing, a 6-3 in left. Freddie Lynn in the center, a 7-5. And Reggie Jackson is in right, the 3-6. Doug DeCince is a 9 at third. Tim Foley is 6 at short. Bobby Grich is 7 at second. Ron Peru is 7 at first. That's a pretty good defense there. Reggie, the only weak link. And Bob Boone, a 10 and a 9 behind the plate. So we're ready, and as I said, we got a story for you between the halfway home in the game about Eddie Grant, which was the subject of our opening. So these 2 teams are ready. 11 at 349, 5 homers and 29 RBI. And so the holiday special begins with the strikeout. Strike 3. Lemon swung on and missed a 1-2 pitch. Now Mike Witt would become the team's ace, maybe not in 82, but the last day of the 84 season, he threw a perfect game against the Texas Rangers and was the California ace when they went to the American League Championship Series in 86. Enos Cabell at 273, a homer and 17 RBI. Pitch from Witt. Ground ball to Foley, long throw to Carew in time for the out. Al, Red Sox fan, how you doing? And Laser King, I didn't see you, buddy. How are you? Good to have you along, guy. Yep. So at our station for the Red Sox, if they were on the coast, they would stay on past midnight because these games never run before midnight. So here's Kirk Gibson. Kirk at 263, 7 homers and 24 RBI. Witt delivers. Ball 4. Didn't see you in the chat, Laser King. Hope you are doing well, my friend. 3-0 pitch was upstairs, and Gibby's on first. 2 out, 1 on for Ivy at 177, 4 homers and 12 RBI. Doing well, Dave Gardner. How are you? Pitch to Ivy. Ball 4. So Witt, pitching more like Bobby Witt than Mike Witt, has walked 2. Here's Richie Hebner. Richie at 299, 5 homers and 23 RBI. 2 on, 2 out. Top the first. If you just joined us, the Tigers lead is 3.5 over Baltimore and Toronto. And California's lead over the White Sox is a game and a half. Pitch to Hebner. Fly ball to center. Back goes Lynn to the track, and he makes the catch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After half an inning, it's the Tigers nothing, and here come the Angels. Mark, this would be a day game, so there wouldn't be any need to stay on after midnight. Larry Pashnik is having himself a heck of a year. He's 5-1 with a 1.90 ERA. This is his 7th start. They'll lose him September 12th, in case you're wondering. His last start was a relief appearance at Tiger Stadium. We did this game, as a matter of fact, between the Angels and the Tigers. He went 2 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits, and got the win. So he's on a full 9 days rest. He's thrown 47 innings, 37 hits, 3 homers. He has walked 12 and struck out 14, and is now 5-1 on the year. And here's the lineup he'll be facing. Brian Downing will lead off in left field. Rod Carew will bat second. Bobby Grich third. Reggie Jackson will bat fourth. Freddie Lynn will hit fifth. Don Baylor, your DH, he'll hit sixth. Doug DeCinces will bat seventh. Tim Foley will go eighth. And Bob Boone, the catcher, will bat ninth. Witt threw 22 pitches in those 2 walks in the first. Well, it's a big old bagel on the board for Detroit. So Brian Downing at 235. 8 homers and 19 RBI. The power's all right. He just hasn't got on base enough. Larry delivers, and there's a ground ball to Hebner, who runs to the bag to make the play. What a stab by Ritchie to stop that. And there's 1 out. Defensively for the Tigers, Herndon is 8-5 in left. Kirk Gibson is 6-6 in center. Chet Lemon's got a hell of an arm. He's a 5-9. Who, Pashnik? Seriously? Cabell is a 2 1/3. That's bad. Alan Trammell a 9 at short. Lou Whitaker is 7 at second, and Richie Hebner is a pretty decent first baseman. Lance Parrish a 5 and an 8 behind the plate. Although I don't think there are too many Angels that are going to run. Rod Carew at 369, a homer and 20 RBI with 3 triples. Pashnik delivers, ground ball up the middle. Trammell behind the bag at second, goes to Hebner for the out. What a play by Trammell. He threw it almost falling forward. And Hebner, who does not have great range, was able to block it, and there's 2 outs. There's Bobby Grich. Bobby, we're a quarter of the way through the season now. Grich, not Catalano. And 224 ain't that great. 7 homers and 26 RBI. Pashnik delivers, and there's a ground ball again. Trammell on the grass over to Hebner, and out retires the side. So the Tigers get the Angels in order in the first. We played 1 inning. No score. So it's Herndon, Parrish, and Whitaker for the Tigers here in the second for Witt. And Pashnik only threw 11 pitches. Larry at 314, 12 homers and 41 RBI. Remember, Tigers and Angels tomorrow at noon right here on Retro Sports Network. Oh, just kidding. Okay, because you come up with enough goodies there, Mark, that I actually believe you there for a second. Nope, there are some players, this is my real house, 10 to 14 years old, between 82 and 86, not just 1982. And there's some of these people are going, who? But I do know Larry Herndon. Witt delivers, and there's a fly ball to left. Downing goes into foul territory, and that's a souvenir. Pretty packed house here in Anaheim on Memorial Day. 70 degrees, winds a gentle 2 miles an hour out to left center. If that monstrosity of that outfield wasn't there, you could see a parking lot. Well, today you'd see the Honda Center. Pitch to Herndon. Got him. 1-2 pitch, strike 3. Looked at strike 3 go by. Stood there like a barn on the side of the road. Brings up Lance Parrish at 303. 5 homers and 22 RBI. Witt delivers, and Parrish hits this one down to third. The Sensei long throw to Carew. Parrish got him. That was fast. That was a good throw, hard throw by the Sensei. And Parrish is a catcher, so he's not super fast, but still made that close. So 2 out for Lou Whitaker. Lou at 317, 7 homers and 26 RBI. As Bobby Catalano, his Twitter wife, says hi to everybody in the chat. Whitaker ground ball down to Carew. A bounder. Rod takes it to the bag himself to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. He's played an inning and a half on this Memorial Day. The Tigers nothing, the Angels nothing. And that will bring up Reggie Jackson with Fred Lynn and Don Baylor to follow. The heart of the order. I will say this, Mr. Forsberg, I'd never heard of Larry Pasternak, but what a beautiful smile he's got, isn't it? I'm judging that probably was not on a Topps card. That's either off a yearbook program or Clear or Diamonds. Pasternak delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Back goes Lemon. He's got it. 1 out for Freddie Lynn. Freddie at 313, 5 homers and 16 RBI. Pasternak delivers, and there's a base hit left field. In the left center, Lynn will hold it first. And that's the first hit of the ball game for anybody. Brings up Don Baylor. Thank you. Back in 82 balance schedule. Yeah, it was Mark's right. The American League played a balanced schedule. And with 7 teams in each division, it was 13 within your own division, which made those games really tight. And 12 out with your Western Division rival. So you would play 6 out in California, and they would play 6 in Detroit. Or when the Red Sox played out in Texas, Trail of Tears type stuff, because the Red Sox never played well in Dallas. Baylor at 244, 11 homers and 32 RBI. And there's a ground ball base hit right side. Lynn will hold at second. Lemon throws it back in. It's got a good arm. The National League played 18 games within your own division, because remember, it was 6 aside, and not 7, and 12 against the other division. So, kind of almost like what you do today within the division. So everybody made 2 trips out at least to the coast. You can determine that how you will. So 2 on and 1 out for the Sensei. Doug is at 282. 10 homers and 26 RBI. Pasternak delivers, and there's a base hit right side. Lynn will hold. Nope. Lynn's not going to run on Lemon, and so they're loaded for Tim Foley. Tim at 302, a homer and 16 RBI. And the bases are loaded, 1 out. 3 hits in a row for the Angels. Pasternak delivers, and Foley hits one up the middle. Pasternak throws home, and they got him. No, they don't. They don't. I didn't see a out or a safe sign there. My cat's not liking this. And so Pasternak did the right thing. He tried to get the runner at home, but Lynn beat it out. So it's 1-0 Angels, and there's still only 1 out for Bob Boone. Bob Boone at 224, a homer, and 15 RBI. Pasternak delivers, and there's a ground ball to Whitaker. And he goes to Trammell for 1 over to Hebner. And they got him, call it 2. So that's why they call it the pitcher's best friend. The Angels get a run on 3 hits. And Strand 1 at least. After 2, they go ahead 1-0. So it'll be Trammell, Lemon, and Cabell for the Tigers here in the 3rd. Trammell at 234, 2 homers and 20 RBI. Pitch from Witt, ball 4. So Trammell draws a walk. 3-0 pitcher's way outside. Witt's control would improve a great deal over the years, but today he has walked 3 and struck out 2 in 42 pitches to his first 9 batters. 2 innings. Chet Lemon is one of those 2 strikeouts. Trammell not a threat to go anywhere. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. Excuse me. So that 3-1 curve is inside, and that's the 4th walk given up by Witt. So here's Enos Cabello for 1. Dave, hope you're doing well. Witt delivers, and there's a ground ball right to Witt. To Gritch for 1, over to Crew. They're going to have to hurry. No. Cabell beat it out. So runners in the corners. Oh. Well, Dave, I hope that things continue to go positive for that. Kirk Gibson has walked his first time up. So runners on the corners, 1-0 California, top the 3rd. Tigers are in business here. Pitch from Witt, ground ball to Foley. Going to have a tough time turning this. They're going to try. Gritch for 1, over to Carew. And they just got him. They call it 2. So Gibson slams the helmet down and the side is retired. No runs, no hits, and no errors. 2.5 in the books. It's California 1, Detroit nothing. Who does Boston open up the season with? For real? I'm not sure. Boston's at Seattle opening day. Okay. Oh yeah, so goody. We get a West Coast 10 o'clock game. Love that. So Downing is 0 for 1. Pashnik has thrown 28 pitches. He's allowed 3 hits in 2 innings and the run was earned. But double plays have been both Pashnik's and Witt's good friends. Pitch to Downing, ball 4. Well, you can have all sorts of good friends, but if you keep giving away free passes like candy, it's going to come back to bite you. Although that's Pashnik's first walk. Here's Carew. Rod is 0 for 1. Yeah, thinking of you, Dave, buddy. Hoping that turns out okay. Pitch from Pashnik. Ground ball at Trammell. Over to Whittaker for 1. To Hepner. Carew's quick, but I don't think fast enough. And they turn it. They call it 2. So Pashnik, you see that big grin on his face. He got his double play. Here's Bobby Gritch. He's 0 for 1. 2 out, bottom of the 3rd. Gritch, it's a fly ball to right. Lemon in the corner. Squeezes it for the 3rd out. So no runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, it's a pitcher's duel here in Anaheim. It's the Angels 1, the Tigers nothing. It'll be Mike Ivey, Richie Hebner, and Larry Herndon for the Tigers here in the 4th. Mike walked his first time up. Mike walked Mike. Don't say that 10 times fast. Here's the pitch to Ivey. Struck him out. He checked the swing on a full count pitch, and it was in at the knee. Strike 3. So that's the 3rd for Witt. And that'll bring up Richie Hebner, who's 0 for 1. Flew out to Lynn to start his first at-bat. Here's the pitch. Fly ball to right center. Lynn has it for the out. Makes the catch for the 2nd out. 2 out. And Witt still has a bagel in that hit column. 4 walks. But say no more. Larry Herndon struck out his first time up. 0 for 1. Pitch from Witt. Ball 4. That's the 5th walk by Witt. And this time, he didn't even find the strike zone. There are 4 pitches outside. There's Lance Parrish. Lance is 0 for 1. Grounded out to the Sensei in the 2nd. Witt delivers. He's got him. He chased a 1-2 off-speed pitch to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. 3.5 in the books. California 1, Detroit nothing. So it's Reggie, Freddie, and Donnie. Mr. Jackson's 0 for 1. Flew out to deep right his first time up. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. So controls an issue here. 3-2 is way outside high. And so Reggie's on first for Fred Lynn, who singled and scored his first time up, the game's only run. Pitch to Lynn, fly ball left field. Herndon has it for the out. Don Baylor singled his first time up, 1 out. Reggie has decent speed on the bases, but that doesn't mean he's going to steal you a base. Pashnick delivers, and Baylor hits one down to Cabell. Only play is to first, and that should be in time. It is. Reggie goes to second, 2 out for DeCinces, who singled his first time up. Ooh, yeah. He's got, little thing was showing off his box cutter wound. How long ago did you do that? That is a nasty story. DeCinces 1 for 1. Pashnick's pitch. There's a base hit in the left center field. Reggie will round third. They're going to run on Herndon's arm. He's only a 5. DeCinces will hold. The throw is in time. How about that? Herndon got off a howitzer to the plate, and Parrish was waiting there as Reggie dove for the tag, for the base. And so that's an out. Reggie's thrown out trying to score. And most times you don't ever want to make the last out of an inning on the bases. But Reggie had a good chance to score. So give Herndon all the credit in the world for that. He turned an average arm into a... Man, let's watch this again. Herndon cut it off and just threw a howitzer to the plate, and Reggie was out. We go to the top of the 5th. California 1, Detroit nothing. So Whittaker, Trammell, and Lemon, as the cat now is awake, going, "Why are you yelling?" Blue is 0 for 1. Witt, 4 innings, 5 walks, and 4 strikeouts. 20 years ago, almost, this guy says. Pitch to Whittaker. There's a ground ball to DeCinces. Gonna have to hurry to Carew. Got him. So 1 out for Trammell, who walked his first time up. If circumstances continue the way they are, I'm going to have a very interesting decision to make at some point soon. Pitch to Trammell. Ground ball to DeCinces. Over to Carew for the out. 2 out. 2 quick out. And Witt needed that for Lemon. So through 4 2/3 innings, Witt has faced 18 batters, walked 5 and struck out 4. Mr. Lemon has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Witt, and it hit him. So you've hit the... Well, he doesn't really have much speed, so an 0-1 count way inside. And that brings up Enos Cabell. 2 out here in the 5th. Cabell is 0 for 2. Pitch from Witt. There's a ground ball up the middle. Witt over to Carew, and that retires the side. So, halfway home. Note Mike Witt's pitch count of 92. Note the scoreboard. It's California 1, Detroit nothing. Now, I gotta make sure I do this right. Now, we showed you this at the beginning of the game. This is our Memorial Day broadcast. And this was the monument that was in play at the Polo Grounds. Eddie Grant was one of 18 major leaguers who were killed in the line of duty in an active war. And the Giants, if you missed the beginning, put up a monument to him in center field during the 1919 or 1920 season. And it remained there until the Giants moved to San Francisco. It was stolen at the last game ever at the Polo Grounds because the Mets were just a gleam in someone's eye at that point. So it didn't matter. So what happened to it? Well, it was stolen in 1957. from the website Baseball Reliquary, RELIQUARY.org. And I'll read this because the font is kind of light here. In late July 1999, the Eddie Grant Memorial Plaque was discovered in the attic of a Hohokus, New Jersey home formerly owned by Lena and Gaetano Bucca. The new homeowners, Brian and Deborah Lamb, had discovered the plaque carefully wrapped in a blanket and hidden under a trapdoor in the attic. Brian Lamb contacted a board member of this page, Wendy Grugelman, a former business associate with News of the Discovery. At this point, Albert Kilchesty, the archivist and historian of the site, became instrumental in negotiating the plaque's acquisition and in attempting to solve some of the mysteries of the large item's disappearance. In his field notes of August 99, he writes, the Lambs purchased the home from the Bucca family after the death of Lena in 1998. Gaetano Bucca, a former New York City officer, died in 1974. Several calls to the NYPD Department of Records revealed that Bucca, who retired from the police force in January of '58 and moved to New Jersey, as you will, served in the 32nd Precinct, an area of jurisdiction encompassing Coogan's Bluff and the Polo Grounds. Additional police records note that subsequent to receiving a gunshot wound during a routine domestic investigation of a domestic disturbance in 1955, Bucca was assigned to light foot patrols in and around the Polo Grounds. Light foot patrol duty at that time meant just that, a foot receiving light duty near the envisions of a bar stool. Eddie Grant Memorial Plaque disappeared after the final New York Giants game on September 29, 1957. It is assumed that the affable Mr. Bucca, with the aid of a few well-lubricated colleagues, had arranged to take the plaque with the intention of delivering it to safekeeping to the Eddie Grant American Legion Post 1225 in the Bronx. The plaque never made it there. How or why it ended up in his attic is totally baffling. Benjamin Bucca, Lena and Gaetano, their only surviving son, a well-respected probate attorney, had no knowledge at all of the 100-pound plaque situated just above his head in his former bedroom. And so there you go. And so that's probably the most prominent memorial to a baseball player, and the curious story of how it sat in someone's attic over their kid's bed for 30 years. And as Paul Harvey would say, now you know the rest of the story. Thank you. Only lost a couple of people telling that one. All right, so Tim Foley, Bob Boone, and Brian Downing were back here for the Angels in the fifth. I couldn't let Memorial Day just go without telling some story. When I was at, I'll do the inning here first. Foley had a sack, well, he couldn't have a sack fly, he's got an at bat. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the second and drove in the run. And this time he grounds one to Cabell, long throw to Hedner for the out. When I was at Called the Pen, I actually did a slideshow on everyone who had played in the major leagues that was killed in an active war. Most of them were the Civil War, or not the Civil War because that would have been too soon, but around between the Spanish-American and World War II, or World War I. And some of them only had one at bat, but there are 18 that deserve to have that recognition. And so I did it for Memorial Day. Got a lot of reads too. Here's Bob Boone. Bob's grounded into a double play his first time up. Hashnick delivers, and there's a base hit into right field. Lemon cuts it off, and Boone's on with a single, and Boone's not going anywhere. So through 18 batters, Hashnick is through 4 1/3 innings. He's allowed 5 hits. The run was earned. He's walked 2. One of them being Brian Downing, who is 0 for 1. Thank you. Hashnick delivers, and Downing hits this one in the left. That goes Herndon to the wall, and he makes the catch. So that's a long run, and Boone will hold at first. 2 out for Carew. Rod is 0 for 2. He grounded into a double play. How you doing, Ken Castro? And there's a ground ball right back to Pashnik over to Hebner to retire the side. So no runs, 1 hit, no errors. After 5, it's the Angels 1, the Tigers nothing. Gibson, Ivy, and Hebner due up. And Witt, before I told that story, you can see the fatigue thing. You can look up on the scoreboard and see the story. He's got 23 pitches before fatigue sets in. He's pretty quick if he's going to go 9. Gibby's 0 for 1. Popped up right side. Carew, 1 out. Today's stadiums are just too small to have monuments in play. When Yankee Stadium had the ones out there for Gehrig and Miller Huggins, I think was the first one. And I think eventually Babe Ruth. Although don't quote me on that order. It was 468 to dead center. I mean, you're not going to hit one out there. Today, I think the biggest one is Fenway. It's 420. Mike Ivy walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. Pitch from Witt. Struck him out. So he swung on and missed a 1-2 pitch. And, Witt's leaving the game with a sore arm. He grabbed his arm on the 1-2 pitch and said, I'm out of here. So we have ourselves a delay here. Well, I tried to figure out the new pitcher. Who the hell do I throw? That bullpen is kind of light. And I guess I'm going to go with Luis Sanchez. So Sanchez has all the time he needs to warm up. And now, take a look at that scoreboard. Talk about coming in with some pressure. Sanchez is 2-2 with the save. This is his 16th relief appearance of the year. He last pitched on the 28th against Milwaukee. So Friday night, 2 innings, 2 hits, a run it was earned with a strikeout. And he grabbed the win in the process. He's allowed no home runs, walked 7, and struck out 15. So Richie Hebner steps in. He's 0 for 2. 2 out, top the 6th. And Sanchez delivers, and there's a fly ball to right. Jackson comes in and makes the catch. So the Tigers are down to their last 9 outs before bagel time. After 5.5, it's the Angels 1, the Tigers nothing. So Bobby Grich, Reggie Jackson, and Fred Lynn here in the bottom of the 6th. And boy, would the Angels just love another run right now. Here's the pitch to Grich. Ground ball to Trammell on the grass over to Hebner. 1 out. Here's Reggie. He's walked and struck. He's 0 for 1. Pitch to Pashnik. Pop up right side. Whittaker has it for the out. There's Freddie Lynn. Fred's 1 for 2. Single and a run scored. The lone run of the game. He's ordering bagels. Yep. There's a ground ball to Whittaker over to Hebner to retire the side so the Angels don't help out their pitchers. And Luis Sanchez takes to the mound here as Larry Herndon digs in to start the 7th with all the weight of the world on his shoulders. As this one's gotten weird in a hurry. Herndon is 0 for 1. He has walked and struck out. Sanchez delivers, and there's a ground ball to Foley. Makes a fine play to Carew. 1 out. Here's Lance Parrish. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Sanchez could conceivably finish the game. He needs 8 outs. Here's the pitch. And there goes the no-hitter. A little liner in the left center that Lynn picked up on the hop. And now we got to worry about a ball game again. So yeah, Mike Witt was throwing the no-hitter. Couldn't throw strikes, but he was throwing a no-hitter. And then poor Luis Sanchez gets thrown into the mix on the Witt injury. So now it's 1-0 California. 1 out, top of the 7th. And Whittaker at the plate, who's 0 for 2. Sanchez's pitch struck him out. A 2-2 swing and a miss. On the breaking ball, or maybe a fastball. Here's Trammell. Allen's 0 for 1 with a walk, so no more bagels in the hit column for the Tigers. Sanchez delivers, and there's a ground ball to Foley, goes to Grich for the force, and that retires the side. And so no, I'm not buying any more bagels. The bagel string is done. Time to stretch it on this Memorial Day. It's the Angels 1, the Tigers nothing. So Larry Pashnett, who's pitched a gem of a game himself, is on the wrong side of a 1-0 game. Baylor, DeCinces, and Foley. Baylor's 1 for 2. Pitch from Pashnett. There's a base hit up the middle, and Baylor will hold. Gibson got it right back in. And so here's Doug DeCinces. He's had a pretty good game. He was 2 for 2. He was single twice. Here's the pitch. Line right, drive right to Cabell over to first, and Baylor's doubled off. Wow, DeCinces just hit a frozen rope to Cabell, who had the wherewithal to fling it over to first, and Baylor's doubled off. So 2 out, nobody on for Tim Foley, who is 0 for 2 with an RBI. Yeah, we had 3 inches of snow. Oh, wait, I'll read this out loud. And the bright sun this weekend, but the upper 30s for a couple. Western Washington University? Is that what WWU means? Swept all 4 with a 1-hitter, a no-hitter, and a cycle in the closer. I was watching some Oklahoma State baseball on YouTube. They were streaming, and it was cold down there. Pitch to Foley. It's a ground ball to Hebner. Pashnett goes to cover, and he makes the catch. So after 7, no runs, no hits, 1 hit, no errors. California hanging on to a 1-0 lead. Western Washington University. Cool. So here's Chet Levin. Sanchez has given the fatigue sign here. He allowed the game's only hit for the Tigers. Chet is 1 for 1. He is, or 0 for 1. He has walked, struck out, and that's it. Pitch Lemon struck him out. Sanchez got him guessing on a 3-2 pitch outside. So that's 2 for Sanchez, and here's Cabell. Enos is 0 for 3. Here's the pitch. There's a base hit in the left center. Downing cuts it off, and Gene Mock's looking around. They don't really have anybody to face the lefty. I don't think you want to go with Moreno for 1 batter. Don Asse would be or Doug Corbett. They're both warming for the Angels. You've now reached the Achilles heel for California, their bullpen. Pitch to Gibby. Ground ball to Foley. They'll get 1. Nope, they're going to go to Carew. And they got him. Cabell will go to second. 2 out for Mike Ivey, who was 0 for 2. He has struck out twice. Boone goes out to talk to Sanchez. Here's the pitch. Gets away from Boone, and Cabell will go to third on the wild pitch. And so the count moves to 2 balls and 1 strike to Mike Ivey. The tying run is at third. 2 out here in the top of the 8th. Here's the pitch. Struck him out. He looked at like a barn standing on the side of the road, as Ivy has fanned 3 times today, and another bagel goes up on the board for the Tigers. After 7.5, California 1, Detroit nothing. So Boone, Downing, and Carew for the Angels here in the 8th. Boone 1 for 2, and he's single and grounded into a double play. Pashnick can get the complete game here with a clean inning. Boone, fly ball to center. Gibson, 1 out. Ryan Downing is 0 for 2 with a walk. Pashnick through 27 batters has been as efficient as the U.S. Postal Service was to ID Juster earlier. 7 in the third inning, 6 hits. No, 1 run it was earned. He's walked 2. He hasn't struck out anybody and thrown just 84 pitches. Pitch to Downing, fly ball to left center. Gibson goes back, he'll turn and watch it go. Brian Downing makes it 2-0 on the home run, and California finally got their insurance run. Watching again, Downing got all of that one. I didn't think that was gone. But Gibson just ran out of grass, and that found the seats. That's his 9th of the year. And here comes Carew, who was 0 for 3. So the Angels got a big run there. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to first. Hebner flips it to Pashnick for the out. So Carew is retired. Here's Bobby Rich. Bobby's 0 for 3. Don Osag warming at the pen for the Angels. Delivers. There's a fly ball to left. Back goes Herndon, and he makes the catch to retire the side. So Sanchez does his job. He keeps the Tigers off the board. We go to the top of the 9th. It's the Angels 2, the Tigers nothing. And it'll be Don Osag, the former Red Sox pitcher, coming in to pick up the save attempt. He is 4-2 with 4 saves on the year with a 3.52 ERA. Osag is only available through the middle of July. Call your KTL record agent today. This will be his 15th relief appearance. Last time out was yesterday. He pitched an inning against Milwaukee. He walked 2 and struck out 1. He's thrown 23 innings, 17 hits, including 2 home runs. He has walked 15 and struck out 20. And his job here is to get Hebner, Herndon, and Parrish to give the Angels a win. Well, the Angels didn't really have much of a bullpen, so this is as patchwork as you're going to get, like the grandmother's favorite quilt. Hebner is 0 for 3. He has flown out 3 times. Twice to Lynn and once to Reggie. Pitch. Popped up left side. Foley doesn't even have to move. 1 out. So the Angels are 2 outs away from a 2-hitter. But this isn't really league baseball at all. Mike Whip will be okay. So we're using it as plate here, so we can't miss anything. But to take a no-hitter into the 6th and get hurt. Ugh. So here's Larry Herndon. He's 0 for 2. He's walked and struck out. Here's the pitch. Ball 4. And so the tying run now is up at the plate for Detroit and Lance Parrish. Lance is 1 for 3 with a strikeout. That 1 hit was a single. We'd be remiss on this 4th day of March 2019 if we didn't mention, since we're doing a Tiger game, the passing of Hockey Hall of Famer Ted Lindsay. Ted was, and Gordie Howe and Alex Delvecchio was part of the production line for the Red Wings 40s and 50s. They won at least 1 cup, and Ted passed away today, or last night, at the age of 93. Hockey Hall of Famer, and as most of the Hall of Famers are, just a peach of a man. So Parrish, as I said, singled and struck out. Osag delivers. Got him! He swung on a 1-2 breaking ball, and the Tigers are down to their last chance. And that brings up Lou Whitaker. Lou is 0 for 3. He's struck out and grounded out twice. So 1 on, 2 out. Top of the 9th. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Tigers. They've left 7 on. For the Angels, 2 runs on 7 hits, no errors. And they've left 4 on. Oh, that's right. D. Scott Howard reminds me that IDJ has Tenacious Delaware Earl on tomorrow night at 8:30 Eastern. Should be an interesting interview. And of course, we'll be with you at noon for the Wednesday game between the Tigers and the Angels. Pitch to Whittaker. Got him, and the game is over. Ase got him to swing and miss. The Tigers go down, and the Angels win a duel here. 2-0, the final score. So, one of those games that kind of goes beyond description here. The runs were pretty easy. Foley with a fielder's choice in the second to make it 1-0. Brian Downing with a solo shot in the 8th to make it 2-0. The Tigers were held to 2 hits. Don Ase gets the save. Mike Witt pitched long enough to get the win. And poor Larry Pashnik, he only allowed the 2 runs and 9 base runners and gets the loss. So there's the line on Pashnik. 8 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs. He didn't strike out anybody through just 92 pitches and gets an L. Mike Witt, 5 2/3 no-hit innings. I guess the lack of control for Witt gave it away that he was in trouble. Sanchez, poor Louis Sanchez, imagine having to warm up with a no-hitter on the line. And then Ase worked around the walk and struck out 2 to pick up his 5th save. Mike Witt is your game MVP. So, we'll play the rest of Memorial Day as you look at my bald spot. So the month of May is over. We start June in the 9th week. And like I said, tomorrow it's Detroit and California. Wednesday night it is Chicago and Kansas City. And then Thursday afternoon, San Francisco and Chicago. The rest of the day in baseball, Mets beat the Braves 7-4. The Braves are 23-24. The Cubs are still above 500. They're 28-21. They beat the Padres 5-2. Lee Smith with a win. Let's see. Oakland beat Boston. Oakland's still 26-24. They beat the Red Sox 4-3. Mark Claire took the loss. Please put away your rope. Texas beats Baltimore 6-2. So Detroit loses no ground, at least to anybody, as a matter of fact. 6-2 the final there. Yankees beat the Blue Jays 8-4. The Yankees are 17-28. Cleveland beat Minnesota 11-7. Pittsburgh beat the Dodgers 3-2. Pedro Guerrero hit a 16th homer for the Dodgers. Montreal beat Houston 5-3. The Expos are 32-13 going into June. Philadelphia trying to hang on 4-3 over Cincinnati. St. Louis beat San Francisco 13-7. Kansas City and Chicago at the beginning of their series. Kansas City beat them 5-4. Larry Gurra goes to 5-4. Or 5-4. UL Washington hit a 2nd homer of the year. And lastly, Milwaukee beat Seattle 12-5. Paul Molitor with 2 homers for a 7th. So the National League races are 6 games apiece. LA is 6 up over Atlanta, 6.5 over San Francisco. Montreal 6 over Chicago, 6.5 over Philadelphia. St. Louis is 9 back in 5th place. Only the Mets are out. I don't want Combat Painter to do that season. So the lead now in the American League West for California is 2.5 over the White Sox. And the Royals and Detroit's lead over Baltimore and Toronto remains 3.5. All right, that'll do it for me. ID Jester's got something else going on tonight. Not sure what that is. But thanks for watching, and thanks for letting me tell the story of Eddie Grant and his plaque. Hit that like button and subscribe, and thank you so much for all you guys do. I'm Ron Juckett. We'll talk to you tomorrow at lunch. Until then, good night.